Hi friends, my name is Janelle Tenhav, and I've self-titled myself the Island TL on my blog posts. That's because I am a teacher librarian and I work on an island, so fairly simple. But I live on Vancouver Island and I commute to work on a ferry every day to Gabriola Island. Which if you've never been is so beautiful. It's a little less touristy than the other islands, the other Gulf islands, but it's so beautiful and I love it there, and I love taking a morning ferry ride to work. But as I've said in some of my previous blog posts, it is my first year doing this. I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. In the past few years, I've been in the classroom setting, striving towards being in a library, and this year I finally got to do that. It is so peculiar being in this new position during a pandemic. It's insane, because I always had this vision of basically having kids come to my library, pick out their books, silent read, we can do activities, all that kind of stuff as normal libraries would run. I have to bring bins of books to the classrooms on a cart, checking out books. So it's different than what it should be. But this is what we're working with right now. So I generally take the time to prepare a bin of minimum enough books for every kid in the class to have 2 books, sometimes 3. And if they've requested a specific book, I take the time to put that book aside for them so that they have the book that they want to read. Because what I've talked about a lot in my previous blog posts is basically fostering a love of reading. And I honestly believe that kids aren't going to be able to love reading unless they're reading a book they want to read. So if they've requested a specific book, I'm going to take the time to give them that book, because I think it's really important for them to be reading what they want to read. Because as adults, I read because I love reading, and I read to take time for myself to read. I don't want to read a book I don't want to read. I choose the books that I want to read that are relevant to me. So why is that any different for children? Unless, of course, it's specifically for classroom, but the books in the library should be books that they enjoy reading. So that's really why I take the time to handpick these books for these kids. That means that I only have 150 kids at my school, so much less than most schools, so it's a little bit less, but it is still a lot of work. So I think that eventually being able to open up my library again will take a load off me, take a load off them. It'll be amazing. But yeah, like I said, I really want to foster a love of reading in my library. And I have always been really passionate about this. When I was in the classroom setting, I had a cozy corner filled with pillows and plants, and basically make it feel like my home. This is my home. And really want the kids to feel like they're at home as well, and that they have a say, and that they can feel comfortable, and that they, it's like a cozy time. And I really wish that I could provide that again this year. But I can't bring pillows, I can't bring blankets, I can't bring plants every time I step into a different classroom. So my vision for the future, as this blog post is about basically, is fostering a love of reading in my library, but in the future. So right now, I can't achieve what I want to achieve, but I'm doing the best that I can. But basically, my vision for the future is really, once the pandemic's over and once I can open my library again, I want to be able to just fill it full of beautiful things and make it really cozy and comfortable for these children coming into the library to feel like it's a safe place. I also want to be able to host several different clubs. So when I was a kid, I was a part of the club, the children that went to the library to put the books away. And honestly, I thought everyone did that at some point in time. I remember in university, for teaching, I remember talking about it, and some people didn't even know that club existed, and they definitely weren't a part of it. And it was at that time that I was like, oh, I need to switch gears and this is where I should be. And I didn't realize that at the time. But yeah, it was really cool to think back and be like, wow, I've been passionate about doing this and like books and kids and all this kind of stuff for so long, and I wasn't really aware of it. So I really want to provide that for the kids at my school. I want to give them an option to, if they don't want to go out for recess, if their best friend's away that day and they have no one to play with outside and they want to come hang out with me instead, absolutely, I'm so ready for that. I also want to host other clubs like board game clubs, and maybe even like video game clubs and different things like that, and book clubs and all sorts of things like every day of the week. I want to be in my library with these kids, spending time with them. But the thing is, you need to be in close quarters for those things, in small groups, and you're mixing cohorts and all of those. So those things can't happen this year. Maybe next year, maybe the year after that, I'm not sure, but that's my vision for what I want my library to look like. I want it to not only be a place where kids can come and get books and read those books and feel comfortable, but really to have this safe place and for me to be a safe person in their life. And that's kind of my heart behind it. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.